If you suffer from sciatica pain and it makes you feel like you're 80 years old every time you stand up, you're going to want some of the information in this video. Most people do one thing that makes their sciatica worse and they don't even realize it. And today I'm going to show you a simple, natural, step-by-step routine to calm that angry nerve down without all sorts of fancy gadgets and without turning your life into some sort of stretching contest that you didn't sign up for. And in about 2 minutes, I'm going to tell you the weird green light sign that your sciatica is actually improving, even if it still kind of hurts. A lot of you probably know that sciatica isn't something you can really see in like a scan or something like that. It's more of like a signal. It's your sciatic nerve that's your largest nerve in your body, and you'll experience pain and discomfort if that nerve gets irritated. Usually it's from your low back or other surrounding muscles clamping down and shutting down on you because they're irritated. And if you feel pain in your butt or your lower back, or burning shooting pain going down your leg, or maybe you get tingling or numbness or potentially weakness, those are all signs of sciatic pain. Now, just one quick safety note here is if you have new bladder or bowel issues or numbness in your groin area or progressive leg weakness, that's not a stretch it out type situation. That's something where you should consult a doctor as quickly as you possibly can. Now, assuming you're not experiencing those, we're going to get on to the video and get into some of the details. Your goal is to reduce irritation and restore motion without poking the metaphorical bear that's already mad as hell. So step number 1 is going to be pick ice or heat the right way. And if this is a fresh flare-up, you want to start with ice for the first 48 to 72 hours, and then you want to switch to heat. There's basically a simple rule. So for ice, that's going to be for sharp, hot, angry flare-ups that are really intense. And then heat is going to help you with stiff, tight, guarded muscles after you do the ice for a couple of days. Now, bear in mind, you want to do the ice for about 20 minutes, and you want to have some sort of a barrier like a rag or a cover between the pack and your skin. And obviously, I know that everybody doesn't have big ice bags sitting around. So if you got something like a bag of peas or carrots or something like that are frozen, and you're like me and you're not going to eat them anyways, then you could use something like that. Step number 2 is what we call centralization. So this is the green light that I was talking about that shows that you're improving, even if you think you're maybe not improving. So if pain starts moving out of your calf, let's say, where you normally have it, and it moves more towards your butt or your lower back, that's often a good sign, and it's called centralization. But if you perform a movement or a stretch like what we're going to talk about here shortly, and it makes the pain shoot further down your leg, that's usually a sign from your body that you want to definitely lower the intensity of whatever you're doing there because it's not getting you the result that you want. So step number 3 is the actual movements and the stretching exercises that we're going to talk about here really quickly. So you're going to want to move to an open space, and I'm going to go over a couple of these moves for you. So we're going to try 2 simple stretching exercises. The key here is that you want to do the one that makes your symptoms feel better or centralized, but you don't want to feel worse or feel like you're in a ton of pain. The first movement is called like a gentle press up or a cobra stretch. And what you're going to basically do is you're going to get on the ground and you're going to lie on your stomach. You're going to prop up on your elbows or your hands if you can stand to stretch that far back. And you're going to breathe and relax your glutes. And you're going to just stretch into the movement like you're a cobra. So this cobra stretch often helps with sciatica when it's coming from your lower back, and extension like this feels relieving. Movement number 2 is called the knees to chest. And obviously, if the cobra stretch is real bad and feels terrible, then you may want to try this situation. So you're going to lie on your back and bring one knee in gently to your chest. 20 to 30 seconds each side, and you're going to repeat that 2 to 3 times. One of these is going to feel more relieving than the other. If you feel a lot more pain or a lot more resistance with one versus the other, then you would know which one you want to choose. But the goal is to get to where you can do both of these kinds of stretches together and not be feeling like you're dying. So just really quickly, I want to mention a tool that can help. This is a topical that you can use to calm your surrounding tissue and actually be able to move for movements like the ones I just mentioned. For sciatic pain, I personally like using a topical around the low back or the glute or the hip area. Not because it fixes the nerve, but because when the muscle is unclenched and more relaxed, your body stops guarding it so much and you can actually do the work to stretch out and help relieve your pain. And it just so happens that the product I'm talking about is right here, and it's my product. It's the Ron's Balm's Lavender CBD 1000 milligram Balm, and you just take the lid off of that bad boy right there, and boom, the balm is right in there. You just scoop a little bit out, put it on the lower back, the hip region, wherever it is you're feeling your pain coming from. That's going to help loosen you up a little bit, and it's going to help making the movements a little bit easier. Now, I know what you might be saying. You might say, oh, well, how the hell do I know if this stuff even works with sciatica? How do I know this guy's not just selling me some sort of snake oil and it's all just BS? Well, it's funny that you mention that, because I actually have a review right here. It's our most recent review on this exact product. Miss Skeeter left us a 5-star review, and she says, I have the lavender balm, a wonderful scent, and she rubs it on her shoulders when they're painful and on her hip area when her sciatica flares up. The pain disappears almost immediately. The best part is that you can try this balm for the first time if you've never heard of our products before, and if you just click the link in the description for our business card, it'll take you straight to our landing page on our website. You can sign up there and save 25% on your entire first order, no matter how much you order. Step number 4 is called nerve flossing. Now, this is not an aggressive stretch or anything like that at all. This is what we call mobilization. So a seated floss, which is basically the easy version, is where you sit tall and you slowly extend your knees until you feel the tension in the backs of your legs. You're going to point your toes up and down gently for 8 to 10 reps. Pain should stay very mild in this exercise. One thing that's interesting to note is that neural mobilization is used by physical therapists and has evidence supporting benefits for certain nerve-related pain patterns. As a general rule is if it lights your nerve up and hurts a lot, you want to back off and use a smaller range and less intensity to have more control, and you will get better results that way. I want to tell you about 2 other things that you may be doing that are actually irritating the shit out of your sciatic nerve and causing you more pain, and it's something you can relieve right now if you take action. So the number one thing that I see that causes people to have a lot of sciatic pain is wearing pants or a belt that's too tight. If you ratchet or close your belt too tight and it really pinches and squeezes on your midsection, that's one of the number one things that aggravates sciatica. So don't wear pants or a belt that are too tight. The second thing that you can do is strengthen your sides and your hips, because whenever that area gets weak, your back and your piriformis try to do everything and they get overworked, and that's another thing that causes problems. So you want to do something like a side-lying clamshell or bended lateral steps, 2 steps, nice and slow and controlled, that just build up a little bit of strength in those muscles that are probably lacking, which is inflaming your sciatica. So now what I need you guys to do is let me know in the comments, where do you feel it worse if you experience sciatica? Is it your lower back or your glutes or down your leg or in your ankle? And another thing is, when do you find that it flares up the most? Like when you're sitting or driving or when you're sleeping? I read the comments because it helps me make the next video more useful. And honestly, it helps other people out there who are experiencing this stuff, feel like they're not totally alone. And I'm always trying to make useful new content for people like you who are watching videos like this. And if any of you guys would like, I can make a follow-up video on the number 1 sleeping position that you can tweak that helps tons of people with sciatic pain at nighttime. And speaking of sleep, if your sleep is already getting wrecked by pain, you can go watch a video that I made recently on CBN and deep sleep and how it compares to melatonin. It's a simple breakdown of what works, what doesn't, and how you can use CBN and not end up feeling groggy. You can watch that video right here. I'm John Watkins. This is Ron's Recovery and Wellness, and hopefully we see you guys in the next one.